This is Joelle. I'm coming to you live from Vancouver. It's a beautiful day, as you can see. And today I'm going live with my client, Nate Chisolm, whose book Savanna is coming out soon, and it's in final pages with his publisher, BenBella. And he is coming to us live from Kenya. I see he's joined now, and he's about to hop on. And we're going to talk about his writing process, because he's written a long-form narrative nonfiction book that took a lot of figuring out of how to put this narrative together that has facts, that has research, that has a lot of personal story, a lot of memoir. That's something people ask me about a lot, is how do I do that? How do I weave in my personal story with my the information that I want to share? So anyway, we're going to get him on. And Nate, if you're there, look for the camera icon with the plus sign, and then you can request to join. This is a really fun project for me to work on as well. Nate went into my book proposal academy, went through the program. Hello, hello.
Hi,
Hi.
great to see you. Great to be here.
Good to see you too. And can I ask you, can you move a little bit away from the window? Because the light is like making it so we can't see you. There we
Yeah,
go. Better. So much better.
but
Great.
yeah,
Great.
there we go. There we go. Yeah,
Great. So glad you could come on this morning for me, evening for you,
yeah, yeah.
and talk about your process. So I was just introducing you a little bit, so I'll just do it again, and then you can correct anything that I've gotten wrong. And I'm also curious what's happening with your subtitle, which is something that everyone worries so long about, right? And as you know,
Mhm.
because you're at the end of the process, you're still going through what is my subtitle. Um, But for
For
anyone
sure.
who just joined us, this is Nate Chisolm. He's coming to us from Kenya, I believe. And he went through my Book Proposal Academy program, and his book is Savanna, coming out from BenBella Books. Do you have a pub date, Nate?
I don't, but it's summer of 27,
Okay,
so
okay,
we
okay.
don't yet have a date, but
Official
yeah.
date. Okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
That's good to know. I was actually looking on Amazon to see if they had a cover up yet,
No,
and
not sure.
not yet. Yeah.
We are in the depths of cover design right now.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's fun. Fun, interesting.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
I'm taking your advice of, just like really thinking about it like this is my business and this is my project,
yeah,
and to, like in the places where I'm the one that cares the most and knows the most, I've
yeah,
got to uh, be that person. And then when I'm not the person who knows the most,
yeah,
then I've got to be taking in everybody else's input and just
yeah,
walking that
yeah.
line.
Great, awesome. It's such a learning curve, but I'm so glad you're taking that active role where you can.
Right.
And you're not gonna have that lone acacia tree on the cover, that symbol of Africa.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure there's got to be a lone tree of some kind, but that's the thing that we're working on. But yeah, I I've got a landscape, I've got a vision, and we're going to bring it into reality one way or the
Yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If I
yeah.
could.
It's a
Yeah,
process. It's a process.
it is. It is.
So Savannah is a narrative nonfiction book.
It
Um,
is.
what I admire so much about what you did, Nate, which I was really alongside you as you were discovering, like, how am I going to write this book? How
Yeah.
can I express what's going on in this book? You have a lot of technical knowledge of your field as an ecologist, as a rancher, as a somewhat of a conservationist,
Yes, exactly.
you've always been somewhat of a maverick in your field,
Hmm.
and this has led you to some very interesting breakthroughs that people had to take a chance on you as a rancher, right? And I feel like somewhat that's reflected in your writing process. Like you had to find your way with the writing. So can you tell us a little bit about how you, like what you were wrestling with when you were writing? this book?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I guess going on the Maverick theme, which I'll have to sort of internalize as we go. Uh, the the yeah, the thing that I've got is my experiences, right?
Yeah.
So I have been managing and caring about and loving these ecosystems since I was little,
Right.
and then my whole career has been in managing them. And then at a certain point, I started seeing it from a different perspective of like, okay, these savanna ecosystems, this is how they degrade. Well, what happened to humans in this degradation process? What happened to humans when we lost our habitat, right? So that's a different perspective, and there is no professor that's got the right credential to write that book. There's no person that is, oh, well, whenever I look for a book about what happens when human habitat is lost, I go to this professor. Like there isn't that sort of person. So yeah, just jump into that void. And the way I always do it, and your process really helped me pull together like these different tools that I've used all through my life writing. But it really helped me pull together the tools to get both like a really soft and flexible thing where you're coming up with new ideas, but keep it framed in a structure that's there, even if it's kind of invisible, so that it feels loose and free, but like everything that I do has an outline, and that's part of what makes it feel like it doesn't. So, in terms of, there's a ton of specialized knowledge and lots of research and lots of dirt time,
Yeah.
just being on the ground, seeing stuff. And I've got to crystallize that so that people don't realize that they're getting that information, and it's tricky. And to me, like the only way I know how to do it is to sit down with a legal pad and a pen and just start writing, because the key to me, everything that I do in my writing process is about like how to get the goodies that are on the other side of the critic, like the voice inside of you that says you can't do this and all that kind of stuff. Get all that amazing information that is like the sum total of your psyche's ability to make sense of the world, and pull it away from this kind of lazy guy who's sitting there and saying that you can't do it all the time. And so to me, like sitting down with the legal pad, that you know it seems like to that guy nothing's happening, so I get off, right? And like the critic inside my head. And so I just sit down and I set a timer. I always set a timer because I feel like we're hunting down these ideas. And if we don't have some sense of time going by and urgency, then all these rabbits are going to escape us, and so I'm like, okay, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? Like, what's the thesis? Where did we leave the last thing? Just ask these questions, write them all out, and then just write the stuff that happens and just get more stuff, get more stuff, get more stuff. And when you think you've got it, you just got to keep writing more. And you got to say like, okay, so what's a symbol? How do I take these 10 pages and how do I make it into a sentence and a half that really
Encapsulates
clarifies
it.
it?
Yeah. That's
Exactly, exactly.
that's so cool. That's so amazing because it's so like anti-productivity. It's so anti-efficiency because it's double work, right?
Anti
You write it out on the legal pad and then you've got to put it in the computer and that.
It's not double work though. It's not Chat GPT. It's not
Hmm.
double work, because to me, if you want to say something different, if you want to say something new that nobody's said before and that you've never, it's not yours, it's like coming from somewhere deeper, like there's just a process that must happen. And
Yeah.
I go through it over and over. Like, to me, like if I'm going to sit down, like in my process as I've been writing the chapters, I do it chapter by chapter and I sit down with a chapter, and, it might take me like 2 weeks to write the chapter. And the first 10 days, I'm just like on the legal pad, like
Yeah.
really, you know, but in a couple, in 2 days, I'll just sit down and I'll write it, like
Yeah.
just write it out. And then I do bullet points because again, it's just this constant battle with the part of you that says, like, oh, this is such a waste of time. This is, because when you're writing stuff on a legal pad, you feel like you're wasting your time even more than when you're scrolling through Instagram. Like it's like it's a funny thing, but you're getting good stuff, and then I pull from that all that written stuff, I'd make bullet points then that are like, this is all the good stuff. So I've hunted these rabbits, before they start stinking, right? I have to clean them. And I have to take the guts and all the stuff that is inside of guts, and I put it in one pile, right? And I take the nice, clean, beautiful meat, and that's what we're going to cook the meal with. It's like
Got
to
it.
use the
Got it.
analogy that you
Got
gave
it.
us.
Yeah.
And so, like, then with the out then I take that and I do an outline, and then I know where everything sits, and then in a in a hard day, a big long day, I'll write the whole chapter. It'll all be there, and it'll just go up without any problem. And to me, the thing that you waste your time with is not going over stuff over and over. It's staring at a blank computer screen. You know,
Totally.
I want to
Totally.
avoid that. I think that's so
Yeah.
toxic to like your
Yeah.
energy and
Yeah.
your mood. If you spend a bunch of time staring at a blank computer screen, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna continue, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's to me, writing is anything other than staring at a blank computer screen. Yeah.
Simple definition. I love that. It's like you're going forward and you're reverse engineering at the same time. So it's not just it's not a progression of like A to B to C. It's like, okay, I have a sense of where I'm going and I'm going to go in that direction in this organic analog way. Then I'm going to look at that and I'm going to pull things out and then I'm going to play with that and then I'm going to recompose almost from that.
Yeah.
So you're having time with raw material and then you're having slightly more refined material and progressing towards the shape of the chapter that it's trying to happen.
Right. Yeah, like starting so that it's really loose but still time constrained, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but if you just write the really loose stuff, it doesn't work. Like it's just rambling. And if you're like, okay, and then on point, P51, like if you have it too structured, then it doesn't work either. You've got to have, it's like a body that's flesh
Yeah.
and bones,
Yeah.
you've got to have all those things to it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
I
yeah,
love what you said about how the structure is everything, but if you write it well, no one has a sense of the structure. They just have a sense of like
exactly.
this is an amazing story and like I can't believe this guy did this or I'm learning so much and it's so fun. Like there's
Yeah,
a
it feels
it
natural and it's
feels natural.
meandering. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Which I think you do
Uh-huh.
super well in this book. Really, really well.
Oh, I
And you
appreciate it.
you tell such amazing stories.
Oh,
Um, yeah, yeah, and take us to places that we would never go otherwise, which I think is a trademark of very good books. Um,
and I,
do you,
like that, I really like try to intentionally, like drawing out of the thesis, like we did not evolve to learn things in any way other than from a narrative, and and from a story. That's how we we absorb information, and so it, if you're going to create, in this world, like you can't sell a book, I don't feel like, unless you've got a narrative or a million followers. But you just to use that sort of ancient insight and that ancient information to sneak your stuff into a psyche,
yeah, yeah, right, exactly. What's one of the favorite stories of yours that you tell in this book? Like something that you really like. I love the story and I love how it came out.
Yeah. So the book is all structured around um, stories, and I almost had like I told you once, like a metaphysical belief that the stories of the times when I was struggling with these different ideas, it was stories from those times in my life that will create the best vehicle for this information, right? And so that's what I won't know. Like, that's why I have to sit there with the notepad, because I won't know when it is, but I'm sitting here, you know, I don't know what a good story is, but like with the book, sitting here with um, I was buying cattle from these people in Kenya, right? And like I got all the cattle got confiscated by somebody, right? And I was like, what's going on? Who is this? Like, I'm an American guy. I don't know how all these systems work. And so my cattle all get confiscated. I had to go in the dark and like haggle with these people about, and they all had, semi-automatic rifles and all this sort of stuff. And like, I got to get my cattle back. I've got, $100,000 worth of cattle, got to get them back, and figure out how to do that. And then so did that, succeeded, survived, and then a week later, this person was ambushed and shot in, in on their way to church in her car. And and so like I'm sitting here with this information, like this is one of the stories that comes at this point in the book. How on earth is it going to explain some of the aspects of the modern world or whatever that I'm explaining right now? But you know you go through this process, and after a couple days it's like, oh my gosh, this story was made to be at this point in the book. Like,
Mm.
how could I not have seen it,
Uh-huh.
and and that's yeah, it's just that's how it
It's
goes.
so fun. So it's like something gets revealed as you're going along. You know the story you want to tell. You kind of know the position you want to put it in into the book, and you're like, but where's the connection to the where we are in the book right now and what I want to
I
say?
Yeah. And I don't even know that I want to put it right there. I just know that this is in the chronological order of the story.
Yeah,
This is one of the things that's happening right now when I'm struggling with this idea, you
yeah,
know? And so it's like these events and these narratives shaped my ideas, but I didn't realize it.
yeah.
And
Right, right, right.
so you are like you're discovering, you're using the same unconscious things that are bubbling away down below the surface that like bring these ideas up. You have to use those same things for the narrative too,
Yeah, right,
you know
right. It's a process of discovery. Surprisingly,
right.
I think that's
Uh-huh.
something that surprises people is like, well, I have these ideas and I have these stories, therefore it will be easy to write. But it's not locked down, right? It's something that's evolving as you're doing the physical act of writing.
And it doesn't come from you, right? It's
Mm.
like it comes from somewhere deeper down, and it comes from like a fusion of a billion years of evolution and putting stuff together, and you've got to tap into that, right?
Mm.
And that's why the notepad, like, it's not like to spend 2 hours before work, before the kids get up, just doing the notepad thing. It's not wasted.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not writing a book, what I would love would be writing for the AI world, like a class writing for the AI world. Like, I can imagine how, like, a lot of my stuff is about the technology and history of technology. And if we look at technology, like, I talk to ranchers and farmers who are in their 80s, and they talk about how when they were kids and their dad had to be really fit in order to be a good rancher. Well, you don't have to be fit to be a good rancher anymore.
Mm.
Um, but you've got to exercise in order for your mind to work right. You know,
Right.
and in the same way, just like the internal combustion engine changed the way people exercise and the way people capitalize on exercise, the AI is going to change the way we use writing, right?
Absolutely.
Even if the machine makes all the prose, you know, you've still got to go through line by line and understand and do your part, do your biological part of participating in that,
Right.
and get some of these things that are bubbling up in your unconscious and
Right.
add that to
You,
the stew.
right. You're the one with the unconscious.
Right. You're the one with experiences.
Right.
Like the AI has none of those, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and so it can't embody, it can just rearrange words. And I'm sure it's super useful. And I use it like for research, it revolutionizes the whole thing, but it's really not, in order to get some of those goodies that are deep down in there, you still have to go through line by line and
Yeah.
understand what you're talking about
Yeah.
and what,
Right.
what you're thinking. And I worry that we're going to be flabby thinkers the way we had a generation of flabby people, after the internal combustion engine came along.
Maybe this is a good point to actually ask you, can you tell us a bit about the book? We've talked about your process. We've given the
Yeah,
title,
yeah.
which is Savanna, and it's coming out in summer 2027 from BenBella
Yep.
Books. And
Yep, from
t-
BenBella, Simon Schuster.
yeah, tell
And
us tell us about it.
yeah, so like I say, I use the insights that I've had from living and working in these ecosystems. Some of them, oftentimes with elephants and buffalo and lions and that sort of thing, and the ecological insights gained from that to to turn the equation kind of on its head and ask, when we lost our savanna habitat, the habitat that shaped us in our body and especially our psyche, our psyche is an ecological phenomenon. Well, if it's an ecological phenomenon, if it's a savanna ecological phenomenon, well, you would think that it would have some major ramifications when we lost our habitat, and it really did. And to the thing that I always say is that you know our habitat loss, because we control the technology, it doesn't manifest in the same way that it manifests for other species, where their populations dwindle and they decline. You look around, I don't know, are you in New York or are you in
I'm in
Vancouver right now?
Vancouver.
Well, one way or the other, you look around and you're like, humans, habitat loss, but
Yeah.
for us, because we control the technology, right? Our habitat loss manifests in the form of modern problems, right? Problems that are unique to our species. And so just going through and tracing the how savanna ecosystems influenced our bodies and our psyches, how our technology inevitably degraded those systems, right? And then how that impacted early agriculture, how it impacts the latest technology that we use today and our everyday life. Every single moment of every day, we are, of course, impacted by the loss of our habitat. And
Yeah.
so then from there, we can see that there's actually some really obvious and practical solutions when we can see modern problems in that light, in that as an ecological problem.
Yeah, right. That's so fascinating. And I know from reading your manuscript several times that it's not a bummer to read about the loss of our human habitat, although it is concerning, of course, because you have such a hopeful message. Actually, this is a problem that we can solve, and we can do it individually. We can do it collectively. And most of your book is really thinking about these things, thinking about how do we get here, thinking about what is it now, and it's full of great stories and a lot of really fascinating information. So um, I think that it's going to my hope for this book, because it's such a thoughtful and engaging book, is that it helps people come up with new ideas for how to be environmentally aware and also take action if they feel called to. After reading this great series of stories interwoven with some fascinating information.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that to me, I don't see this is the good news, like this is the thing that when we see environmental problems from the context of our habitat, all of a sudden there's a lot of solutions that are very simple, like
Yeah.
very, very straightforward because, you know, yeah, we're seeing it through all these other species habitat. We've got to understand where our habitat fits
Uh,
into that.
that's perfect. That's a perfect place to end. Also, we have to see our problems through our own habitat loss.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah. So Nate, it's so great to see you. Thanks for coming and joining me this morning, your evening,
Thanks, Joe. Thank you so
and
much.
for everyone who joined late. This is Nate Chisolm, and he is in Kenya, and his book Savanna is coming out from BenBella Books in summer 2027. It's a great read. I can personally testify to this, and I really hope that it's a big conversation starter. And we have some time before it comes out, but I'm still excited now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you were such a huge help in getting it all put together, Joel. It was just,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You are just one of the ingredients. I tried pitching this book twice in two other instances before, and this time after your insights and all that kind of stuff, um, there there was just a lot of energy around it and a lot of excitement and electricity. So I really, really appreciate everything that you did.
of course. It's my pleasure. Yeah, it's very exciting. Happy to be on this journey with you.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nate. Bye.
Bye.